Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we are jam-packed from the week that was. We have the Chase 5X categories to round out 2023. We have a new credit card from Xbox to take a look at. Hyatt is sending out a survey about a potential new credit card, so we can overreact to that. Capital One is making some changes, and of course we will close with that American Express and Delta changes to both the Sky Miles program, and then of course Sky Club Access. Of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we're batting leadoff with the Chase 5X categories, which just goes to show you how action-packed we had a week of, because normally Chase would be an anchor story, but we're getting out of the way quickly, so you know the drill. This is for the Freedom, the OG Freedom, and the Freedom Flex card. So your Q4 2023 categories this time around can be PayPal, wholesale clubs, and select charities. Now, of course, you do have to activate these on every single card, every single Freedom card that you have. Chase will send you an email. You can go into the app and just kind of activate them that way. Of course, this starts, October 1st through the end of the year, so you still have a little bit of time to wrap up the past category as well. Now, overall, pretty good here. I mean, there's no overlap with Discover, which is the main thing. PayPal should be very, very easy for your online shopping needs. Wholesale clubs, it's always a little bit funny because, Costco is a popular one, and Costco in-store doesn't take MasterCard. They only take Visa, so a Freedom Flex would be disqualified for in-store purchases at Costco. However, I believe you can do some online shopping, and it doesn't matter as much there. I'm not a single dude, isn't really a big wholesale club guy, but there is that. Overall, I don't think we really need much of a strategy here because PayPal and wholesale clubs are pretty easy. Just nice to not see the overlap. So, of course, just remember to activate those. Now, on to our next story, and this one was an interesting one. We have a new credit card from Microsoft and Xbox, and I won't spend a ton of time on it because we did a full dedicated video on this this past Thursday. So if you want to check out my full overview of it, you can go head over to the main channel page. I'll put it down below for you in the description as well. But overall, let's take a look at it here. Card is pretty good. So it's going to give you 5X at the Microsoft Store, 3 back on streaming, 2 back on dining, delivery services only, and then 1 back on all other purchases. As a benefit, there are 5 designs you can pick from, and they will put your gamer tag on the back of it. Your intro offer, pretty weak. You're looking at 5,000 points, $50 value for making 1 purchase. In addition to that, they will give you 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, their subscription service, which I hear is pretty good. However, if you already have the service, well, then they're not helping you out. You could just give it to a friend, apparently. So overall, anytime, you know what I'm trying to do here, anytime a card, the core category is 5% back, I think that's a win. Now overall, a lot of the comments I see sometimes on Reddit and other forums, they kind of tend to crush some cards like this. It's very niche, and even as an Xbox player myself, I'm not going to get it, but if you play enough games and if you're looking for something simple to use, then you get 5X back. I think that is a win on a no annual fee card. So overall, I think this is good. It's not live yet. They're slow rolling it out to their Xbox insiders, people who are in that program, and they will continue to roll it out slowly till eventually I'm sure it will be plastered all over Microsoft and Xbox when you log in. But overall, a nice little entry into the card space for Xbox. Much better, much more easy to use than the PlayStation card as well. Again, if you want more details, we have a full video on that we did earlier this week, so feel free to check that out. Now, continuing right along in our busy week, this time around we have Hyatt. So Chase and Hyatt, they have a partnership, and for the longest time, there's been that World of Hyatt card that everyone likes on the personal side, $95. People keep it for the anniversary night. Was it last year? I think they came out with the World of Hyatt business card, which isn't really, it's good for a quick Hyatt point load up if you want. It's not really a keeper card, in my opinion, how they designed it. But there has been, demand or hopes and dreams for a middle-of-the-road Hyatt card, either mid-tier, that $250, $300 space, or perhaps punching up to an actual, premium travel card, like the Marriott Brilliant card from American Express, for example, something like that. The Hyatt has sent out a survey, so you know how surveys go. We have to look at it, we have to overreact to it to see what are they actually looking at. So here is the survey that we have in question. Now, So when we take a look at this, and again, it is a survey here. Here's where the questions on it. So again, you have an annual fee range of either $250 to $450, which makes a big difference when you make a decision on this stuff. But Hyatt, so you get various Hyatt-related statement credits between $50 and $250. Discounts on all Hyatt inclusive bookings, either buy one, get one, or buy three, get one. Explorer status, either the first year or as long as you hold the card. 10 elite nights, category 5 free night certificate. You could gift certificates. You could extend certificates as well for 5,000 miles or points. You could also combine two certificates together into two certs into a category 6 or 8, and then option to top off certificates with 5,000 points per category, which would be interesting. So overall, I mean, that's the questions you're taking a look at. Now, again, it's a survey, and the funny part is that annual fee range. If you told me I got all that for $250, I think that's a huge win. If you tell me it's $450, well, we need to take a look at it. So obviously, you would want to keep status as long as you have the card. Just having it the first year isn't great, but there's potential here in these questions for sure. They kind of seem to be like all over the place, so I don't know how they're going to land on the final benefits, or I mean, even if this will actually come to existence. But just the fact that they're asking what people may think about it, I think is hopefully promising. So let me know down below how you feel about this survey. Did you get a survey, or what perks do you want to see, let's say, for a $450 card? Because I would imagine with everyone else charging so much for their cards, it's going to punch up rather than lower. But that would be my guess. Now, the game giveth and the game taketh. Our last two stories of the day. We have Capital One. Capital One and the Venture X are in the news. I'm not going to outright say it's a nerfing of a benefit, but is it definitely tweaking in Capital One's favor over the card member favor? So, one of the favorite perks of the Venture X is that $300 travel credit. Up until now, it worked very similar to the Sapphire Reserve's $300 travel credit, where you just use your card on a travel-related thing and it'll post. Now that credit is moving, and that credit will have to be applied more so as a coupon or a discount when booking through the Capital One travel portal. So Capital One was sending out notifications. I'll put a copy on screen that we pulled down from Reddit. But overall, that's how it works. It's not really that hard to use. You just have to go through the Capital One portal. Now, the good news here is that you don't have to use it all in one go. You can spread it out over multiple purchases. If a purchase is canceled, the credit will be refunded so long as the credit has not expired, which is nice. Now, the downside, again, of this is the fact that it does take away some of the flexibility for it. And again, previously, you could use this direct on airlines, direct on whatever you wanted, really. I mean, I've never used it, but I know that Chase credit was like, it worked on like everything, even like parking garages in cities. Sometimes it would just trigger and you didn't even mean to, for example. So it does remove some flexibility. It's not the end of the world. And, this could be, I don't know, we'll say two separate things, right? On one hand, it could be Capital One. They've had the card out for almost 2 years now, give or take. They're learning. They want to tweak more, make adjustments. Could look at it that way. On the other hand, you could say, hey, we've had it out for 2 years now, and we want to start tightening things up, start to slowly, fully integrate, see how we can kind of recoup some of our marketing spend when they were giving out a ton of those, 100K offers. And I think they even had an additional 100K plus. It was like some kind of $200 credit or something at the time. So, we saw them 3 weeks ago, change the churning rules for this card as well. So, it's not the end of the world. It's not great. It's I think I've said Capital One and Venture X is a keep your eye on it card, because I do think in another year's time we will get to the point where they're definitely tweaking and nerfing some sort of stuff, especially if you see, all the other cards again charging much, much more than $400. So I would keep an eye on that. But they did actually, it's not a new card, but the Venture X business, they've officially made it public. Before you needed like a business relationship manager to get it. It's now on Capital One's site, and we have links for it over on profitablecontent.com. So if you've got a lofty spend requirement, but if you're in the mood for some miles, by all means, check that out. Now that is most of our stories. We're going to finish here with the American Express and Delta changes. Now, last week we talked about it. I think OMAT had it, or TPG, one of the two. Some training material for Delta employees had leaked. hinting at some of these changes, right? And the changes were focused on the Sky Miles program, their loyalty program, and then lounge changes which directly affect the credit card. So there's a lot to go through here. So I'm going to put it on screen for you in slides. We'll go through all of it. We'll probably focus more on the credit card pieces. That's what people are going to be most interested in. But let's take a look at this now, go through it all. So when you break it down, the first change we're taking a look at is the Sky Miles program. So this will be effective January 1st. The Sky Miles, they're now going to go to medallion qualifying dollars, or MQDs. That's going to be your baseline for how you earn status. So they're getting rid of medallion qualifying miles and medallion qualifying segments. Again, those are going away. Members will be able to convert their MQMs that they have already earned. You can change MQMs to MQDs at 20-to-1 ratio and MQMs to miles at a 2-to-1 ratio. Those miles would then be redeemable. They go on to say in their press release, there are now more ways to earn status, kind of, sort of. So with these changes to the Sky Miles program, members can now earn status through purchases on eligible Delta Sky Miles American Express cards, car rentals, and stays booked on Delta.com and Delta Vacations, in addition to Delta and partner flights earned by spending how and when you want with Delta and our partners. Of course, spend more money will give you more stuff. Now, the status tiers are also changing quite a bit. So Sky Miles Silver Medallion is now 6,000. Well, it will be, when this launches, 6,000 MQDs. Currently, it sits at 3,000. Gold Medallion goes up to 12 from 8. Platinum goes to 18 from 12. And Diamond goes to 35 from 20. That is quite the price hike there. So that is the Sky Miles program changes. Now, if we get into the Sky Club Access, this is the stuff that's going to upset a lot more people. The Amex Platinum card will go from unlimited passes, unlimited entries for the cardholder, to 6 passes. And that's a medallion year, we should say, which is February 1st to January 31st. And that's going to start January 1st of 2025. So you do have a little bit of time, a year and a quarter, give or take. Amex Business Platinum, same deal, 6 passes starting January of 2025. Delta Reserve, is the purple one, is going to get 10 passes plus 2 annual guest passes, again starting January. Delta Business Reserve, 10 passes starting again in January of 2025. Delta Platinum card will no longer allow you to purchase a day pass. That does start in January of 2024. And airfare also gets affected as well, effective January of 2024. Eligible card members with basic economy, that's e-fare tickets or similar light or basic tickets issued by a Delta partner, will not have access to the Delta Sky Club at all. So that is quite the list of changes. And, it's pretty unfortunate, honestly. I mean, so the first part, we can see what's happening. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. They are heavily prioritizing spend and revenue-based customers. It's very obvious to see in how many of us use these credit cards. Is, if you take something as simple as the Delta Gold or even the Delta Platinum, many people get these cards, and as long as you check 2 bags, 1 trip, a bag there and a bag back, the cards pay for themselves, and the cards aren't really that enticing to use anywhere else. So plenty of people just desk drawer these cards, sock drawer these cards. Pretty obvious to see there. They want more people using them. These guys, OMAT has the full write-up, but I'll pull some stats up that he had over there. But these guys make a ton of money on their partnership with American Express and the merchant fees and stuff that they get. So that part, not too bad. It's bad, but it's not too hard to understand. The real, it's a tragedy how far they're cranking status as well. Just to go up that far is a bit much. The rollover ratios also don't seem great, but there's not a lot that you can do with all that stuff that you earned except roll them over. So, what are we really going to do? Now, the other part here is the credit cards. And I am kind of surprised because I couldn't imagine American Express would have wanted this to happen because the Platinum card, whether I love it or hate it, it's still the king of lounge cards, right? Being able to get you into Sky Club. So I believe Sky Club access is much, much more helpful than the Centurion Lounge. Centurion Lounge gets all the hype, but there's not that many compared to how many Sky Clubs there are. There's multiple Sky Clubs in multiple airports. So to go from unlimited on a $700 card to 6, or on the flagship Delta card, the purple one, to go from unlimited down to 10, really hurts. It hurts obviously for multiple reasons. Was it a few months ago, Delta had tried to make the change where you could only go on takeoff, right, to the Sky Club, but then they backed down from that, and they said you can go on arrival and departure. So I don't know, I didn't see if these passes were going to be a full day pass and you could like Sky Lounge hop. I don't know, but that hurts. Just the fact that it was unlimited, and the card price is still staying the same. I've said this before, say it again, it's very annoying because this is largely a problem that these airlines and these issuers have created. No one really talked about lounges or focused on lounges this much 10 years ago, maybe even as far as 5 years ago. Honestly, this really just started coming around the last, I'll say 7-10 years maybe. So you've made all your money selling all this access, and now you're going to pull it back, but you're not giving anything in return. So it does hurt. Now, the other side of it, as I've said before, is, most of us, or a good amount of us, go to these lounges because we can, not because we need to or necessarily even want to. So I do think Capital One with their grab and go section is onto something for the overcrowding piece. Like, here, just take your food and go. Okay, fair enough. Now, what I think is going to happen, what I think happened was Delta and American Express probably thought about this for a while, because I still can't imagine American Express wanting to do this, but I think they say, okay, fine, give us a year essentially, and before 2025, we will see a revamped version of the Platinum card. Whatever the next iteration of the Platinum card is going to be, I believe we will see it by 2025. Or slightly ahead of 2025 to get rid of that. Because again, whether you use the lounge often because you need to or not, it doesn't really matter. It's just like it hurts. I would say it hurts to be paying $700. The core benefits of the card are the lounge access and maybe the hotel status. The credits are always up in the air depending on who you are. So I would imagine this is done with enough time to give American Express time to come up with whatever the next iteration of the Platinum card is. Probably more expensive. Or do they bring back that Optio card rumor? Now there's just another card sitting up there higher than it. I don't know. All possibilities, all speculation on my part. But I would say they have to do something so Delta can still, Delta, maybe the partnership was okay. Delta will raise up what it costs, we'll add in, we'll prioritize spending on the card. So we go with medallion qualifying dollars, and spending on the cards helps everyone. Well, Amex and Delta win in that scenario, so they're helping them. Amex, okay, we'll think about something, we'll help your overcrowding issue a little bit, but you got to give us some time to work on it. So overall, I think that's what happened. Total guess on my part. I think we'll see an updated Platinum card before that 2025 deadline. I would imagine they've got to do something. So what would it include? I don't know. We've already almost done this for 20 minutes, so I'll turn that over to you guys. You can let me know what you think about this. Is this it for if you have a Platinum card? Are you going to kill it? After this year over this, or what would you want to see in the next iteration of the card? Assume it's going to be more expensive. Don't tell me make it cheaper. Of course you want it cheaper, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would bet you any amount of money that doesn't happen. But let me know what you'd want to see, or your own theory. How do you think this happened? Why did it happen? Obviously overcrowding the main issue, but what are the details? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the news. So of course you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're posting content just like this every single week, and of course right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance, and of course every single day over on profitablecontent.com, where we have the latest news stories just like this. So if you want to keep up to date on all of the action throughout the week, we also have bank promotions and we have credit card offers. So if the Amex has pissed you off with this one, well, go check out profitablecontent.com, because we have some cards that would love a slot in your wallet to hopefully replace this one. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon this week.